Hello and welcome to Storytime with Uncle Gravy. So exciting things are happening now at both ends of the garden, with Russells each side of the fence divided by a hole which neither of them really fully understands, and some of them are yet to discover. So let's carry on and find out what happens this special evening. Big hellos before I start to Isaac and Theo and Joseph and to all the regular watchers. You know who you are. Oh, and just over my shoulder, just here, you'll see a little book. Oh, there we go. There's one for perspective. This book is called Elephant Me, and it's by Guy Parker Rees and Giles Andre, and it is wondrous. So please do check it out. I've only just noticed it in the screen, so it wasn't deliberate product placement, but you could do a lot worse than read it. It's very, very lovely, and it's got some spectacular illustrations. So here we are, and I shall continue. On the other side of the fence, Burnie and Chris had set off from their shelters, feeling brave and determined to reach the glowing hole and try to work out what was happening there or near to it. Chris had still not come up with any amazing ideas or solutions as to what it could all mean. Usually this would have felt strange for Burnie, but there was something new and comforting about the fact that they were both in the same situation and starting from the same point. For the first time in a long time, they were equal. The day had been sunny. The solar lights had charged up well, and they were making the same strange greenish glow that Burnie had been attracted to on the previous night. Chris had listened well to Burnie's description, but it wasn't until they could see the neat outline of the hole and the light beyond it that Chris truly got a shiver of excitement. Maybe it was curiosity, mixed with the hope and a sense of the unknown, but Chris felt like this bizarre sight must hold clues to what had happened to Ash. They were almost at the hole when Burnie noticed something. "Chris, the light in there seems a lot brighter tonight. Do you think something has happened? Or maybe the giants can control it and make it brighter or darker?" Chris didn't have any ideas at this point, but felt a smile getting bigger beneath face fluff. "I honestly don't know, Burnie. You saw this last night, so can see a difference. But I have never, ever seen anything like this before. It is all new and it all looks special. I think we need to find out how it is special and if it can help us in any way." Burnie was tempted to ask how they would do that, but remembered that they were both discovering things at the same time now, so shared a thought that was bubbling up. "I know we have talked recently about Ash not being here anymore, but if, somehow, this light was visible to Ash too, surely there would be a temptation to come towards it? I mean, we have, haven't we? I know there are no clues that Ash is still around, but I just still feel like this place might be special somehow." Sometimes Chris's replies came so quickly that they could feel like the end of a chat rather than the beginning. The pause, which now followed, gave time for Chris to think, but also showed Burnie that a lot of thought was going into the answer. "I think you could be right, Burnie. And, more than anything, I now really hope you are right too." Stepping round an enormous brown and orange slug, which was making its way towards low leaves and new shoots, the two Russells got to the point where they could touch the edge of the hole. The size and the scale of it became much bigger when they were next to it, and so did the view through the hole, which now became clearer under the green light. Peeking through, Burnie and Chris saw how the light created a path of glowing softness. The light wasn't the bright, white, crisp light that came from the moving, noisy things in the sky sometimes. It was different also to the light which came on suddenly at the top of the garden land when badgers or larger animals went near to the giant's house. It created a path to look along, and it was lit from above and below. From where Burnie and Chris were standing, they could see a scene that looked very much like their home, which felt like a good thing. The same shaped leaves and grasses were there, swaying slightly in some areas and flattened in others. There were certainly signs that larger creatures than them had walked there recently, and this just added to the sense of curiosity. Chris was now leaning into the gap, looking and listening for anything, and far, far off, as far as Chris could see and hear anyway, there may have been something disturbing the taller grass, but it wasn't quite possible to hear what was happening, and the light wasn't reaching that part of the land. Chris's ears strained now as much as possible, but all that they picked up was a weird noise, which Chris assumed straight away must be a mouse squeaking or some other nighttime animal calling out. Not for the first time recently. Chris wasn't entirely right. A lot was happening all at once for Darcy that night. First, meeting Ash, then finding out that there were 2 more Russells to meet, maybe. And now, after they had walked to the far side of the garden for some food and a drink, another spectacular thing had just happened. As they got to the long grass and the dark corner, Ash had heard the squishy chewing noise again, and knew right away that the hedgehogs must be nearby. Darcy had seen a hedgehog before, but had always kept well away, so when Tilda appeared from out of the grass, walked straight to Ash and said, "Hello, Ash." There were truly no words that Darcy could say. Instead, a very high-pitched squeal came out, and it came out again and again as Darcy bounced on the spot, looking at Tilda and then looking at Ash. Ash said hello to Tilda and rubbed her nose, before looking at Darcy and staring quite hard, which stopped the squeaks and the bouncing. "Darcy, my friend, please, just what are you doing?" asked Ash, ears ringing with the noise that had been produced. How does it talk, Ash, and what was it chewing?" Darcy interrupted. "It isn't an it. This is Tilda, my friend, and the meal was a slug. Please, calm down. Or pretend." Tilda had been quite stunned by the noise too, but felt that if Ash had a friend, it would be safe, even if it seemed to be a bit excitable. Tilda's next move, though, did nothing to calm Darcy down. "Would you like to come for a ride again, Ash?" she offered, at which Ash climbed gently onto the top of her nose, and she tilted her head back, making a little slide for Ash to roll along. With a few wriggles and a bit of untangling, Ash was sitting on top of Tilda's back, smiling at being up so high, and now looking over to the glowing path in the distance. "Oh my days! Oh my nights! Oh my small naps between! This just cannot be real! Have I seen what I've seen? A magical stranger pops up, sharing stories, then sits astride hedgehogs, all ready for glories. You look like you rule the world, sitting up there. Oh, I need to sit down. I'm all giddy. I need air." Darcy flopped to the ground dramatically, with furry hands flapping. Tilda or Ash looked, but neither of them were worried. It already felt like this behaviour may be unusual for them, but maybe not so much for Darcy. "Thanks, Tilda. Are Hattie and Hazel around? Because if they appear, Darcy might make that sound. It's been quite a night for us both, to be honest, and Darcy's got noise for us both, and that's a promise." Tilda smiled, happy to be talking and spending time with a new friend again, and answered, "Oh, they're with Mum tonight. We were all meant to be, but I thought I heard you, so I slipped away through the grass to see if I could find you. Mum wants us to stay close to her at the moment, because she says there might be a hole over on the other side of the garden, which could be weird, and she doesn't want us to wander off to look at it. I hadn't thought about it until she told me it was there, so now I really want to go there." It sounded interesting to Ash too. He began to think aloud. "It does sound exciting, to tell the truth. Do you think you'll go there, find clues or find proof? I'd like to come with you, if you choose a track, a path not too bumpy, with me on your back." As Tilda thought out an answer, Darcy stood up, looked at both of them, put out a hand and said, "Stop, just right there. I am in, I am there. We just must explore. This is too much to bear. If Hattie or Hazel have room on their backs, then let's find the hole and let's find out the facts. 2 Russells, 2 hedgehogs and mystery gaps. Let's go there together when we've all had our naps." "Actually," said Tilda calmly, "Mum has said that we are going all there tomorrow night, together. She travels further than us at night and has found a path which glows with green light but looks like it has something dark at the end of it. She said tonight we would travel to it tomorrow, as there is a full moon, and it'll be easier to see things. You'll need to be quiet in the day and be ready to go out all night though. Tilda looked around and listened out too. I'd better get back to them actually. What do you think, Ash? Ash rolled off the side of Tilda's back and dropped the short distance to the ground. After looking at Tilda, then at Darcy, who was now clapping hands together again very speedily while looking at Ash with big eyes of hope, the answer came naturally. Tilda, that sounds like a super idea. When lights in the houses go off, we'll be here. We'll nap in the day because that's what we do. And then when the moon glows, we'll look out for you. It sounds like the path and the hole may be new. I wonder what happens if hedgehogs go through. It sounds a bit like your mum wants to find out. And if that is right, I do too. There's no doubt. A call from Tilda's mum now stopped the chatting. Tilda quickly agreed to Ash's plan, said goodbye to Ash, hello again to Darcy, and then disappeared back into the grass. Both Ash and Darcy needed another few moments to take in what had happened and what had been planned. Darcy almost felt disappointed at not having a first hedgehog ride and going adventuring to the glowing path and the mystery hole, but was already looking forward to the excitement building up over the rest of the night and for the next day. It's that pause again. You know what the pause means. Yes, it's the end of the chapter. I want to keep reading, but that's not how it works, right? I just have to do a chapter each day, I think. I think that's the rules. But it's my channel, so I can make the rules. But no, I'm going to stop there. That's the chapter for today. But I'm very much enjoying reading this story to you. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. And I will see you tomorrow. Oh, thoughts and comments. Here's a question for you. If I was a Rustle, which one do you think I would be? I'll leave that with you. Stay well. See you tomorrow.